welcome back to Loud and Proud Orlando on a Monday night for your City Pod. We have some special guests with us tonight here visiting from Cavalry FC to talk about our CCC opener on Wednesday night. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the Legacy Kit announcement that happened last week with the Honor Thy History scarf and glass and everything that came out around that was super cool. And we're going to have a little bit of news as well to wrap us up. But first of all, I want to say hi to Luis. How are you doing?
Good. Very excited to be here. Very happy with it, all the new kit, and very happy about that. Happy that we're undefeated in preseason still. 3-2 win against Colorado, and we're just ready for CCL. Well, or Champions Cup. Sorry, I keep missing the the acronym, but definitely excited for today's show to get to know more Cavalry.
Paula, how are you doing?
Couldn't get out of mute, but I'm excited as every single Monday, and this is one is special because we have special guests. And guess what? 2 more days, well, day and a half, let's say, we get to see our boys back in the pitch, even though they're super far, but it's getting closer and closer to the big day. So I'm super excited to be here.
And without further ado, let's introduce our guests from Cavalry FC, Josh and Paul. How you doing, Josh? How you doing, Paul?
Awesome. How are you guys? Thanks for having us.
Well, we're excited to have you here and learn more about your club. This is your first time in the Champions League, I believe.
Yep. Yeah.
This is our second time, so we're excited to be back in the competition. First of all, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourselves and sort of your history of how you became fans and how you started a podcast for Cavalry FC.
Well, we've been doing the podcast since 2019, which was the inaugural year for Cavalry, pretty much. Yeah, and then overall, I've been a long time footy fan. I'm actually a terrible Canadian. I threw away hockey, and I've been into the footy ever since I was a kid. And then as soon as Calgary got a team, then it was just all my dreams came true of having finally like a nice pro team to support.
Yeah, and being brothers.
I just dragged him along.
Yeah, he phones me up one day and like, hey, Canada's getting this new league, and we're like, what? And then he phones me up, and yeah, we've been fans ever since, and season holders for Cavalry FC. So we figured, well, we're going to talk about Cavalry FC after every game. Let's put a microphone in front of ourselves and put that out into the world. And we've been doing it ever since. So yeah,
that's how it starts for so many clubs. Tell us a little bit about Cavalry. You said they play in the Canadian Premier League. Tell us about this last sort of season and a little bit of the history of the club, like their colors, your logos, anything that gives us an idea about who we're going to go up against on Wednesday.
So I guess the logo is easy if everyone can see it. It's right behind us there. So where we are in Calgary, there's a huge, I guess you could say, identifyingness with the area of the province we live in, with the foothills. So that's what the triangles represent, the foothills. Of course, you get nice old school football in there.
Yeah.
Our colors are pretty easy, like
red, green, black, primary colors. We play out of Spruce Meadows, and there's a big equestrian. It's a world-renowned equestrian facility. So Atco Field is located there, which is the name of where Cavalry plays. That's our pitch. But so a lot of our kits too will incorporate. Sometimes there'll be some horse imagery. There's a bit of a military history to Calgary, so sometimes they'll throw that in there too. So
I'm assuming that's where the cavalry comes from.
Yeah. See, there we go. That's a home picture right there.
Got Meyer Bevan, Dan Klump in that picture. So yeah,
I saw your new green jerseys you guys just announced. I was looking on the Twitter there. They look really cool. Like they're like trees with like white on them.
Yeah. So the green kit that they just announced has some northern lights on the bottom with the constellation that's above Atco Field is located on the top, and then they announced a new red kit as well for the home kit. So some nice kits, yeah.
And the club was founded when, and how long has it been going in the Canadian Premier League?
So it was founded technically, we could say 2018.
Yeah.
And then it was ready for kickoff for the 2019 inaugural season.
Yeah.
And actually, so it's interesting with the Canadian Premier League. So it is technically it is our top of the pyramid competition. We don't have a system of relegation promotion yet. So I guess much like MLS, it's our top flight, but where some people might think it's a little bit because we're still pretty new, we're pretty small, like our stadiums are pretty tiny.
Yeah.
But they're
I
fun.
mean,
So winning the league, that was our pro league, I guess. So we won our
we won our regular season last season. So
Yeah.
So obviously you're looking at like your Toronto, Montreal, those clubs that are, because they're in MLS, like they're seen as, bigger teams.
Yep.
How would you guys, I know you've played them several times. How would you say that your team compares to them, or in the past, how have you gone up against the bigger MLS teams from Canada?
So in Canada, we have a competition called Canadian Championship.
Yeah.
And I guess it would be our version of, I guess, the Carabao Cup in England.
It's like the Open
just-
Cup.
That
right?
Open Cup probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Open Cup, yeah. Actually, it's quite funny. This is probably the most we've paid attention to MLS.
yeah, since 2019, this has been a good chance for that.
And in 2019, in the Canadian Championship, Cavalry went up against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and we eliminated them from the competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some giant killers already in your blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got
like that.
we've got some MLS experience. We played the Vancouver Whitecaps. We've played Montreal.
Yeah.
We played Montreal. Yeah, when they were Impact, and then did we play them when they were CF Montreal? I don't think so.
Don't believe so. No.
Formerly Montreal Impact.
Yeah.
So this piece of silverware you won, you just won the Canadian Premier League. So you came top of the league.
Yeah.
Basically the supporter shield is what we would call it in MLS. That's your first piece of silverware you won as a club since you were founded in 2019. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
last season, what they introduced was, so for the purists, the traditionalists, if you win the regular season, you get the CONCACAF Champions Cup. There's a cash prize. You get some silverware out of it, and then there's playoffs. If you win the playoffs, that's another spot into CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yep.
Cash prize, and you get silverware as well.
That's how Forge got in, right?
Yes.
Because we've seen them go up against, I want to say
Chivas.
Yes, thank you. So they, I believe, were eliminated by Chivas. So it's going to be interesting to see, how you guys fare up against us, whether there's any difference there or not. But we're going to go on to that in a minute. Is there anything else you guys want to tell us about your club or your fans or anything unique? I know we're not playing in your beautiful stadium, which I'm kind of sad about because it looks gorgeous there. It looks absolutely beautiful. But obviously with the weather,
and I'd say it's unfortunate too, because I'd say for home stadiums we're biased, but I'd say we have the best one, and part of it is I think we're the loudest. But the way the stadium is, we've got this metal grating that you can stomp.
Yeah.
So it just elevates the noise to a whole new level, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Very fun. Because it's a little smaller, very intimate, but your pitch is right there if you're sitting in the front. So it feels bigger and smaller at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like the wall, John.
It has sorry. Intimacy. Intimacy is what you guys were talking about. And it's funny you say about stomping on metal, because in the wall, which is our supporter section, safe standing supporter section, cool. There's metal benches that are folded down. We all kick the benches and it makes this incredible drumming metal sound. So it's great to hear,
cool.
Cultures across the world. Now, this is amazing to me because we're playing from Florida to Canada. It's the distance of this game is insane. If we were in Europe, this would be some kind of stat about how far we're traveling. But apparently in North America, this is all perfectly normal to travel this far for the Champions League, which is crazy to me. All right, we're going to move on to actually going into the game itself. We're going to talk a little bit about lineups and get your guys' kind of strengths and what you think is going to be players to watch, etc. First of all, let's go ahead and bring up the lineup. I think Luis has a picture or something from you guys, so we can kind of get an idea of your
Cool.
club. Josh and Paul, I'm going to give you guys a minute to kind of go through your team. Let us know sort of back to front who these guys are, who to look out for, and where you think you guys are going to be generating play, or how you're going to, what your tactics are, essentially.
So the starting 11 that we came up with is pretty much actually identical to that, because in the off season we were able to secure a core lineup. So I kind of went on the assumption that because we had such a good season last year, I think all these guys deserve to start in CONCACAF because that's what they worked for. That's what they worked for last year. So definitely, actually, that's pretty much.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty much identical to that. Yeah.
yeah. William Accio, he's our clutch guy. He'll come in when we first got him back to Calvary last season. He came in one of the first matches, scores a goal within like just a couple minutes, does a bunch of backflips. It was so he's kind of been like our clutch guy. Like, oh, it's maybe a little late in the game. Like we need a goal or help. So he's always fun to
your
watch.
Dynamic winger by looks of it, right? Is he
him
more
and
of a
Isaiah,
direct
like Ali
winger, or
Musi
does
as
he
well.
like
Ali
to cut
Musi as well.
inside? Okay, the
Yeah.
other guy on the other side, Musi. Is that how
Musi.
you play through the wings? Are you crossing the ball in, or are you trying to play more like inside forwards where they're running inside off each other and you have overlapping fullbacks?
Yeah,
What kind
I'd
of
say
tactics should we expect to see?
tactics are going to be pretty. I'd say off the bat, it's going to be a lot of wing play because that's what we see. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I was a little bit of a broken record last year. My thing is go up the middle because that's where we're the strongest. Is just by wrong sport, but we're really good at blitzing.
Yeah.
If everyone goes up the middle, they kind of just take over everyone, and that's how they can get some goals. But for clutch players, for sure, like our leadership in goal, Marco Carducci, he's always good for a nice save.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about Trafford and Daly, your two DMs there? I mean, talk about go through the middle. Are they dynamic sort of players, or are they more defensive-minded guys?
If there's any foot soldiers that are tuning into this, I apologize, but this might make some waves. One of my favorite players and our boss of the midfield is Charlie Trafford.
Yeah, he's always fun to watch.
Yeah, Charlie Trafford, I think, is going to be the.
Is he like a passing guy, or does he break up the play with his tackles? What kind of midfielder is he?
Kind of both, and
yeah,
might go through you if you're in the way. So
he's like 6'7" or something like that. He's insanely tall, and he's just he's our rock in the midfield, and he's our really good pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And these two fullbacks, have they got a lot of pace? Are they going to be bombing up the wings? Is that what we expect from Candom and Aird, is it?
Yep.
Fraser Aird, yeah.
Yeah, so look for lots of wing play. Actually, pretty much if you don't have pace, you don't get on the team, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, Aird's always fun to watch.
Any sort of team strengths or sort of weaknesses you feel like where would you say is your best asset on the team, or maybe where is your worst asset on the team?
Dan Klomp is he's our anchor.
Yeah.
And he was also defender of the year last year, player of the year last year. So
yeah,
Dan Klomp for sure is he's our anchor of everything.
Yeah. Carducci is always good in goal. So
with Carducci in goal, yeah.
Plus our captain, so.
And then Meyer Bevan is really good for sneaking around behind everyone. Aird is really good at picking out a pass. Excuse me.
So Bevan is like a what kind of forward would you describe him as? Like a kind of guy who's going to get in behind, a pacey kind of striker? Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah.
Less of a big
like
nine.
I was just about to use it. See, it's funny. I was just about to use a hockey term, actually. He's trying to think of other strikers that maybe I could link him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I don't know the strikers. But...
you know what? He's kind of like our Christian Pulisic.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What we're gonna do then is say a couple questions that we've got interesting ones here for you. Luis, if you pull up the comments. First of all, Pilot haha says, "Wow, some Cavalry fans." So there you go. Someone's already fascinated. You guys are here. Rodolfo Chang says, "How long is the Canadian Premier League?" Can you guys answer that one for us?
28 game season.
Yeah, 28 game regular season,
Yeah.
and then play. Oh, how long is playoffs?
Playoffs is about a month, maybe a little less than a month.
Yeah.
So
When is the actual timeline of your league? It's the same as ours, right? So you're about to have, this is your first game,
this is
and the
our
season
first
starts.
Our regular
when?
season starts end of April.
game. End of April. Yeah.
Got it. So you got some time. This
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
early. This is really early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be
Yeah.
annoying.
And,
Q2.
and,
Yeah.
and when did it end? Like in September, October, something like that?
By the end of October, everything is done. So
Yeah.
playoffs will have been
Okay.
played. Someone will have been crowned playoff
Yeah.
champion. North Star Cup is given out, and yeah. So
Just at the end of October.
yeah.
So from April through
To about
October.
September.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
September. Okay.
Yeah, maybe the first week of October, like around the
That's when playoffs will start. And
Playoff.
then,
yeah.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Yeah,
Okay.
about 3.5 weeks.
Good to know,
Rodolfo
good to know.
Chang also asks, how many teams compete in the Canadian Premier League?
8.
8.
So
Yeah,
you're
so it's
seeing a
pretty-
lot of the same opposition.
Yes. Yeah. You play everybody 4 times.
Yeah, so 2 home,
Wow.
2 away.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a
And
lot of
it-
travel for a small league because it's big getting
A lot
one
of
side of the
Clásicos.
Canada to the other.
Yeah.
As
So
far as I know,
Pacific.
the Canadian, or
Yeah.
I think you're about to say it.
yeah, so on Vancouver Island, Pacific FC play. We're using their stadium for our home stadium for CONCACAF Champions Cup here. Thank you, Pacific FC. But they'll play the team from Halifax, and those 2 teams, when they're flying to each other's respective stadiums, I think it's the most travel in any pro league.
It's the most distance
record-
traveled in a pro
most
league. Yeah.
distance, yeah.
It's
between
one
those 2
side of the
teams.
continent to the other side of the
Just
continent for
just
that.
all
So
Essentially,
the way to
yeah.
the other. Yeah.
that's a long way.
One side of Canada to the other side of Canada.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Orlando City lineup to give you guys an idea about what to expect from us. At this
Cool.
point, I've talked way too much already, so I'm gonna give it over to Luis and Paula to run you through our lineup. Luis, can you give these guys an idea about what to expect from us?
Sure. So obviously, I believe depending on how the game goes, the lineup may make some little changes here and there. Let's start with goalkeeper Pedro Galese. He's a Peruvian national team goalkeeper, one of the best in the league. I would say top 3 in the league at least. Then back 4 with Rafa Santos as your left back, and you have former Cruzeiro player Santos, Jansen, former AIK in Sweden, possible captain of Orlando City for this game. Maybe we'll see. And then a newcomer, David Brecalo from Slovenia. He comes playing the Elite Syrian in Norway. He's going to be the partner there for Jensen. And then Dagerdan Thorhalsen, pretty much a D-mid that was converted into a right back by Oscar Pareja. So very dynamic player, knows how to attack, knows how to defend, very pacey guy. Really good crosses. Very good to set up the assist. Now, do you believe those back 4 is the back 4, Paola?
Well, I don't know about Brecalo, right? Because he just got here. We saw him in the preseason game last weekend, but I'm afraid it is a possibility. He can be, he cannot be. The other player that we could possibly see is Schlegel. He's a legendary player for our club because in 2020 he played as a goalkeeper because Galese got a second yellow card, so he got a red card. and Schlegel came in for the penalty kicks, and he was the hero. He actually stopped a penalty kick. So if we can see like our last season, last formation, Schlegel will be there with Jansen. Now, Brecalo is new. He's apparently he's a solid rock too to be in as a center back. But I can see more Schlegel. I don't know if you agree with me, John, on this one.
Yeah,
But if it's
I agree.
Brecalo, bring him in. I don't mind. But I can see more Schlegel in this lineup.
It's just a question if Brecalo is ready. We haven't
That's the
seen
question.
him
Yeah.
as much. Like he hasn't been doing preseason really. Like he's been off to the side. So I think more likely you'll see Schlegel, but he's still a very good center back.
Well, he played a couple of friendlies with Orlando, a couple of the scrimmages. So yeah, I agree with you guys in that sense that Schlegel could be in there. He's definitely the guy who knows Jensen more than anybody else in the back line. So we'll change Schlegel there. Then in the mid, we have the double pivot, which is Cesar Araujo, a Uruguayan national, and then Wilder Cartagena, Peruvian national. There in the mid, and then right in the middle as at number 10, it'll be Nico Ladero, former Seattle Sounders player. And then on your left wing, Ivan Angulo. On your right wing, Facundo Torres, which now he's number 10, not number 17. And then right up top, I put Luis Muriel, But then again, we could see Ramiro Enrique. I
Could be
really highly doubt
Duncan.
it could be Duncan. I don't know if I don't.
There's
Once you
debate
leave the
over who
chicken,
our striker could be for
right?
sure.
If we see Duncan, I don't know. It's just weird because once you leave the chicken coop, it's gonna cost you to come back.
To give context to Josh and Paul, we had a big transfer saga this offseason with our
nice.
I don't
striker
think
called
Pareja
Duncan
will do that.
McGuire, who was a rookie for us last year. He killed it. He was supposed to be sold to Blackburn Rovers into championship,
Oh wow.
but
Okay.
essentially everything got messed up,
Oh, no.
and they failed to register him, and they had to send him back
Oh, geez.
from the
Oh,
loan.
To
wow.
us, yeah.
So he's kind of his headspace might not be there. So this is
Okay.
why Luis Muriel is a brand new signing, Colombian international. You may remember him from getting at Atalanta into the Champions League. He's our brand new number 9.
Okay.
He might start, but also we've been seeing a lot of Luis Enrique. Sorry,
Mhm.
Ramiro Enrique.
Ramiro, yep, there you go.
My Luis is mixed up. Who has been playing a lot as the striker in preseason. So there's sort of
Okay.
3 options there in that striker position. It's hard to say who will be chosen. Paula,
Yeah.
can you give these guys an idea about the style of play that we see under Oscar?
Actually, I was going to bring that up. I had a question, actually, if you didn't mind.
Sure,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, just this is only based off of highlight clips that I've watched, but I've noticed that, at least to me, and the way Oscar Pereira kind of sets up your team, it kind of, you guys, most of your goals come in transitional play and then catching players out of position. Like it seems you guys were boss of that. Just someone's out of position, crazy pass by Torres, and then Duncan scoring. It's like, so I saw a lot of what I thought was like transitional play and just like really, really good at picking players out of position.
Paula, go ahead and answer
No,
that
no,
one.
yeah, and you said it correctly. Like, we use our right back and left back a lot, like going up and down the field, looking for an open spot to make that cross into the box, and we can strike a goal, or going in the middle, trying to use our number 10 to make that
Mhm.
important play to our wingers. Like that's why you see Facu, because Facu and the number 10, who was Mauricio Pereira last year, they used to flip, or Facu could be in the wing and then in the center position, and then Angulo too. They can switch sides, so
Okay.
you won't get like the exact same formation the entire 90 minutes. They could be all over around the field,
Oh, okay.
and everybody
Nice.
defends, like they go up and down all the time. So that's what you can look for
Okay.
on Wednesday for sure. Like look
You
at
know,
our right backs
yeah.
and left backs; they will be like going up and down.
That's kind of how we play.
I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of similarity with how Cavalry play. There's a lot of when you play for Cavalry, it's multi-position. Hey, at this moment, we're all going forward, and at this moment, hey, half of us are dropping back. So with people playing in different spots, this is going to be a very maybe I'm biased. I'm a Cavalry fan, but I think it could be a very evenly matched game. I'm very excited to see. Because when you were talking about your number 10, like Sergio Camargo for Cavalry, he's our number 10. He has got such a creative mind. He'll play almost, I feel like he can play two different games within 30 seconds of each other. He's very, Cavalry likes to say, they live the mantra of adapt and overcome. And they play that way. So
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm
great.
seeing a little bit of that with Orlando. So this is going to be
we
very
Yeah.
interesting.
we play that 4-2-3-1. A lot of it pivots around the 10, which seems like you guys play a similar way.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
expect you to be quite defensive? Do you think that because if we look at the teams on paper, I think one of our players might be the value of your entire team. Not to
100%.
say,
100%.
that you guys are, smaller, but you kind of are.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way that your league is built and the amount of money that's in the team and the roster, etc.
Yeah.
Do you think that because of that, you're coming into this as the underdog, the David to the Goliath? Do you think that you guys are going to
Yeah.
sit in and really put two banks of 4 in front of us and try and frustrate us to try and break you down? Or do you think you're going to be a little bit more expansive and open and try and play a bit more?
I think, just in my personal opinion, we have nothing to lose.
Yep.
Like we want to try and go as far as we can, obviously. Like we always play to win, but I think everyone's kind of counting us off anyway. So they've got nothing to lose but to just go balls out, literally and figuratively, and just run a whole 90 minute of pressing football.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. I think Cavalry has nothing to lose. I think Orlando has more to lose if they lose this game, especially for all the hype that's been surrounding the team the past few days. To me, Orlando City plays a South American style, very pressing in transition. So
Okay.
you got a double pivot that forces you to make mistakes, and then they pick up the ball and then they go all out on the wing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes. The issue with that is, at least the past few seasons for Orlando, is that they control that throughout 90 minutes, or at least first
Mhm.
half. They create at least 5 to 6 chances. They don't
Okay.
score one single one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that has been the problem. So, and then all of a sudden, of a corner, Schlegel decides to look down to the other side, and then boom, you got somebody like what's your 9? His name is Bevan.
Oh, Meyer Bevan?
Meyer
Bevan.
Bevan.
Vevin, right? You got Vevin, sees Schlegel looking to the other side and goes off and scores, right?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
all the hype of 6 and 7 chances they created goes to waste because now Calvary's up 1-0. And now they have to reconfigure and reconfigure and do, okay, what are we going to do now? So
Mhm.
lately, Orlando has done really well being down 1 or 2 goals. So the power of reaction has been great.
Okay.
But I think the difference now is Lodero. So I think now with Lodero, we had Mauricio Pereira right there at the 10. And Mauricio Pereira was a very crafty guy, but he could not endure that defensive attacking press throughout 45 minutes.
Mhm.
He can only maybe do that 20. And then now with Lodero, what we've seen in preseason is that he has adapted so well to this particular lineup that you could see now, okay, we get a really good 9 that's going to work for us. Like he's going to be fed now, not only from the sides now, but also from the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to be Pareja's dilemma coming up to this game. Who's going to be fed? It's going to be Luis Muriel. He just arrived. Is it going to be Duncan that left the coop and still has something to prove? Or it will be Ramiro Enrique? I think, in my opinion, this is how I think. I think it's maybe Enrique first because he's been playing preseason, then Muriel because he's just came in, and I think Maguire. I think what Oscar's going to do is he's going to tell Maguire, prove to me you're here. Like, so score a goal for me first. Once Duncan starts scoring, we're probably going to see him in the starting lineup, but I don't see him in the starting lineup.
I mean, that's what happened last year.
agree.
Paula, I wanted to ask you, do you have anything to tell these guys extra about our team, or you want to have questions for them about how they're going to play? I think Luis had an interesting point on the counterattack. If we're really pressing high up the field, then these guys are bet in. Maybe there's the counterattack is the way that they could score on us. Paula, do you have any idea about a weakness that you could share with these guys from our side?
I think I hope the club is not hearing this, but I think when Santos goes really up in the field, right, to help the offensive side, and then he comes back, sometimes he looks lost. Like he loses his player to defend. And Schlegel too. Schlegel sometimes he's like on point. I'm here. I'm a center back. But then he loses his sight, like Luis mentioned before. He can look to the other side, and then your striker will be next to him, and he can score. It all depends, because Schlegel has surprised us lately in the last quarter of the season. But I think that's our weaknesses, right? Like our defense could be solid, but sometimes one mistake, one little error, we can concede that goal to the opposite team. But my question is more for Wednesday. Do you think, and I think it's gonna be evenly because you guys don't play since last season. You did scrimmages like us, and we're trying to, our core players are here from last season, but still there's unanswered questions like for our forwards, because our forward are this dilemma drama with Maguire, now Muriel coming in to help. But do you see you guys going more in the attack side and try to beat us in the first goal, or just try to conceive that energy for the last, I don't know, second half of the game?
I actually think it'll be. I think for the first few minutes, or at least for the first quarter of the half, like I'll say the first 15 minutes, it's going to be a back and forth. It'll be like a rocky tilt. I think Tommy Wheeldon, our coach, or in general manager, he's going to be like really studying and everything, and kind of, I think it'll be a little bit of a back and forth at first, just to see, like, kind of feel out the game.
Yeah.
And then
it sounds like we could maybe frustrate Calvary could maybe frustrate your forwards if you're not sure where your goal could come from. We potentially know where 2 or 3 of our goals could come from, not just from our striker or from our midfield as well. Like a few of them have proven they can score goals. And because of we have a very good core coming back from our previous season. So I think that could be where we could momentarily frustrate Orlando. And
I think mostly because this is, like, for both teams, the first game, and I say the first 15 minutes because it's the first competitive match.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
see blood on Wednesday. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but
There
we can
could be some
definitely
rust.
slip up on the rust for sure. Yeah. First
Yeah,
competitive game, you're not quite in your head yet. Yeah, for sure.
like, and I think adding on what you guys were saying, it's going to be so intricate for Orlando, at least to, like, that's why you have Araujo and Cartagena. Like that mid's going to have to work magic. And not only that, like, they have to capitalize the first 15-20 minutes of the game. Like, so I think Pareja, what he needs to do is not believe, and I think this goes for everybody in the competition. Don't believe this is a done deal just because you're playing a team that you never played before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that they're not going with that mindset anyways. But I think they should go with the mindset of I'm gonna wait for them to see what they can do. Kind of like, I don't know. Sorry to quote this, but kind of like in Dragon Ball when you gotta test your power. You want to just make sure
100% what it is.
see how the enemy is gonna fight, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you already kind of know their power levels, so you just go and attack. I think that's what Orlando needs to do. They need to figure out, how far can this team do it, and then hunker down and attack, press without Juan Cartagena, and try to distribute the ball. Now, the question mark to me still is the number 9. And I think if it's Enrique, you're going to see a lot of passes in the box for Calvary.
He's like
more
he's
of
like a false 9.
kind of more like a false 9, right? If you see Muriel, you're going to see something similar what you saw with Ergin Cara, and same with Duncan McGuire. So, it's uncertain at that point. But I do feel like now with this lineup, Orlando should go with the mindset of, let's see what this team can do in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game, and then now let me try to see what I can do to finish them off by minute 35, and then I can just kind of relax and take it in. That's the mindset they should go about. But if they're gonna believe that this is winnable and they're going like this and I'm done, that's when the other teams that are kind of playing the underdog card grow in momentum. A lot of teams thrive on that. Go ahead, John.
So
Sorry.
Oscar, we had a session with Oscar Brejar last week where he talked to some of our fans. It was called the Brejar Perspective, and he talked about the Champions League game. And he said, we don't want to underestimate anybody, and we must respect our opponent, and we're going to go into it with the mindset that we need to win this game in the first tie. So I expect us to come out of the gate trying to score in that first 20 minutes, like multiple goals, almost to kill it off and not let you guys even really have a chance was what they're aiming for. But it definitely shows that like we're not going to play any, fringe guys or backups. Like this is a very important game for us. It's very important that we go through and go against Tigres again, hopefully. So it's going to be, extremely I think aggressive from us in that first 30 minutes to really try and, like Luis says, kill the game off as quickly as possible. And we might be looking at a return leg where you guys are coming here with a big deficit. But that brings me on next to our final question for you guys. And we want to get your kind of final score and who's going to score the goals.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay.
First game 2-2.
Exciting. I like
draw.
that.
Yeah, I think
who's
2-2 draw.
Who's gonna
it's going to go
score?
down to the wire in Orlando. I hope.
Who's going to get those goals for you guys?
I think it's going to be.
I think Moosey's good for one.
You're going to go Moosey?
Ali Moosey's going to score a goal.
He's the pacey right winger, correct? Moosey's the right winger.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was going to go Moosey and Bevan.
And Bevan's
our number 9. Yeah, he was our the league's golden boot last year too.
Yep.
So
Bevan was.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
Meyer Bevan.
Okay.
Meyer Bevan,
So we're gonna. That's the player to watch, everybody. Bevan and Moosey. We heard it here first.
If you pay attention to Bevan, 100%.
Got it. Luis and Paula, your final scores and who's scoring those goals.
All right. So to me, it's gonna be a 3-1 Orlando City. Brace of Facu Torres, and then you got Nicola Dera of a free kick. Ooh. And then we get one scored on us, more than likely by one of their center forwards. That's just my opinion.
Hey, at least we get one.
Yeah, that's one for Bevan. Paula, your go.
I will say 2-1. 2-1. And
Okay.
Facu will score one. and Angulo will score the second one. From our wing to the goal. and
one for Bevan, of course. He gets one
yes,
every
I was
time.
gonna say that. I'm like, I'm
All right.
expecting a goal from this guy.
Fantastic.
I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic for us, a little bit more pessimistic for you guys. I'm going to say it's going to be a 4-0 to Orlando City.
Okay.
Oh man, look at
Sorry,
this!
I-
I thought
look.
I thought I was
John, you're
Preseason-
saying that? No,
Look,
wait.
I'm
calm
not the
down.
positive one, guys. This is the
I was
thing.
the
I'm the
positive
negative
one.
one. So this is crazy. Preseason, we just look really good. We really do, and I know that doesn't always translate, but I think the way we've been playing against MLS teams and other teams at our level, we look like really good against them. So I think if we translate that down to a team that at your level, I honestly think the gulf in class is going to become evident, and that's nothing on you guys. I just think that our squad, like I said, is made up of millions of players, and your squad is made up of hundreds of thousands of players, right? And that's just sometimes soccer economics, and that often translates on the field. It does.
Yes.
So I'm going to go for a big 4-0. I think there's going to be goals from Ojeda, Facu. We'll get 2, and then I'm going to have Luis Muriel off the bench with 1 for his debut. I would love a debut goal. That's what we're hoping for here, is a debut goal from somebody. Nice. So at this point, I'm going to let our guests go because we're going to go and talk more about Orlando City and less about Calvary FC. So I want to thank Josh. I want to thank Paul. You guys go ahead and promote your podcast, and hopefully there's some people listening from Canada who are following along and know you guys.
Yeah, hopefully. It's awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us. It was great.
Thank you. Yeah, 90 Minute Life. We have a Facebook page that we
don't use.
But and then we're on places where you find podcasts.
Everything pretty much, all the big ones.
With the exception of YouTube. Also, thank you. This is our first ever time on YouTube, so appreciate.
Wow!
You're welcome.
Yeah,
we call ourselves a podcast, but we do video as well. So it's all
wonderful.
It kind of blends now. Like Spotify, you could do video on that and everything.
Totally.
The two worlds are merging. So
absolutely.
We appreciate you guys coming on and giving us your insights.
Yes, thank you.
From here on, though, we're not friends anymore. So
okay,
that's it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's it. No, I'm kidding.
No.
You guys have been great sports. Thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate it. And I hope you guys are gonna make the trip out to the game. I know it's not in your.
We can't, unfortunately, but
it's too far.
We do have a sizable group going to the home leg in Vancouver, and then we do have some people making it out to Orlando as well.
Yeah. So
wow.
We'll see some
That's
Calvary
awesome.
fans at
both
games,
that's amazing.
So. You're gonna see some Orlando fans, I know for sure, in the stadium over there. So there's been people who are making that long trip to Vancouver. So if you are one of those people, salute you, and you're an amazing person for flying across an entire continent to see your team.
Awesome. So. Try some maple goods; they're awesome.
We will do. Thanks, guys. We're gonna let you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Take care.
See you soon. Thank you to those guys. That was awesome to have them on, get some insights, learn a little bit more about their team. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for this Bevan kid. Apparently, he's their top goal scorer, and he's got a lot of goals, Luis. So we'll have to see. Moving on to our next topic, we're gonna talk about the Legacy Kit announcement. You can see above me is the Honor Thy History scarf. I went down there to the event. It was an amazing time where there was old players, new players, just a great time at the Cheyenne Saloon. Paula, you kick us off with this one. Give us your opinion on the jersey. We saw the leak, but now we've got the real thing. What do you think?
So funny story. I was talking to Alec, and Alec was like, I don't know, it doesn't convince me, and blah blah. And I'm saying, hey, it's part of the history, and we didn't have the chance to be during the time of USL, but now we're here, right? But then when the video came in and Miguel Gallardo was narrating that, and then we saw the actual kit, I don't think it justifies the leak with this picture, like with the actual jersey. Like I'm gonna buy it. And last year I said I'm not gonna buy a jersey until we have a star above the crest, right? But this one is an exception because it has the everything. Like it's beautiful. Like I wasn't here present by 2011, but I'm gonna buy it. I love it. Like it's different, right? And everybody's gonna say why the red, why the red, and that's the purpose. Like go hear our history. I love it. I'm gonna buy it. So take my money, Orlando. So sorry, but I love the crest. Like the logo and the fusion that they did is amazing. Like a lot of people outside of Orlando City are giving our praises in Twitter. So I'm pumped. I'm actually pumped. And tomorrow we're gonna not tomorrow, sorry, on Wednesday we're gonna see it. They're gonna premiere it in Canada. So I'm pumped.
I mean, it is our away jersey, and we are away. So I was hoping they'd
Yeah,
wear it.
I
I would
know,
be
but
surprised if not.
and sometimes but sometimes they wear purple. So
True.
I didn't
But
know
I
that
think
if they were
with like we know they're red, so we'll be white. Makes sense.
it makes sense. And then actually I was thinking, do you imagine like premiere it in our home game on Saturday because it's part of the history. So there's a lot of questions about that too.
They
So
did announce they're gonna wear it. I think it was like the March game, or I
oh,
think
in the
maybe
March
the
game, okay.
I think it's the early March game. I'm not sure. They did announce there's a game. I'll have to check it out. Luis, your thoughts on the announcement and the jersey and anything around the legacy kit?
It was an amazing surprise when I first heard about it. Um, Definitely a kudos to the fans because a lot of the fans have been asking for this. I know here in the pod we mentioned it like a lot of times, and the thing since we first started, why can we do a legacy kit for Orlando City? And finally, the club delivered that and work with Adidas to actually have and rebrand the USL logo, which to me looks fantastic. I mean, not I know that John, who created the first logo, but like I mean, this looks like 10 times better than the original, in my
Oh,
opinion,
the old logo was not
for
good, dude.
sure.
It was not.
And but I think everything for what the legacy kit stands for that true original OG Orlando City fan has been here since 2010. Like this is an amazing kit. To me, it's beautiful. I think they should wear it against Miami to show
I think they will. It's a away game too.
here's our legacy. Where's your legacy? Kind of in a way, right? I mean, in a nice way, but I think it's beautiful. It fits perfectly. I think it's thank you to all the fans, and the video was very emotional. I'm sure for you, John, also was a little bit emotional. So for what the club started to what it is now, it is amazing to see how many lives it has impacted and how many lives they have changed for the positive way. And I'm just happy that this is happening, and it looks amazing. I mean, the lavender with the red, it's fantastic.
I definitely was watching that video during the event when they're you guys can see it on an LP if you haven't, but all the players were coming down in the different jerseys and it was all USL players, US Nil and Dennis Chin and guys that I remember back then playing for us and wearing these jerseys, and it all kind of culminated with that great moment of Janssen coming down and holding his arms out, just looking like a boss man, and it was hard. And the video they did definitely was hard not to shed a tear. I was holding them back. I was like, no, nobody see that I might have to cry because this has really got to me. But Nogel did an incredible job narrating over that. I just think the whole event was excellent. I want to thank Jared and everybody who works at the club for what they've done, because
What a great job.
they obviously, it wasn't, I want to say, pushed under the carpet, but it was definitely ignored, our history, for a while under the Brazilian ownership. And Jared has come in and kind of righted that wrong and allowed us to talk about our history as a USL club and allowed us to essentially celebrate our history. And that's what everything about Honor Thy History is about. And I think the logo, like here, you guys can see, I went over to Magnet Monday and picked up a magnet. Like this logo is an incredible job. Whoever did this.
Yeah.
Like I've got it on the glass. I've got the scarf. I've got the hat. I went just being like, I got the jersey, and that's all I need. I was like, I have to have everything. I have to have all of this.
My money.
Literally, it was the shut up and take my money meme. And now I'm like, I should have bought more hats. I should have bought more scarves. Now I'm worried about it all running out. So I was going to say to everybody, if you haven't got one of these jerseys, you got to see it in person. Looking at it on Fanatics, who did a terrible job with the pink. It's not that color.
It's not pink.
Don't be fooled. Look at it in real life, and you will see just how beautiful it is and how much detail goes into it. And really, I think the heart that's in this jersey, right? That's what it shows. It shows the heart of the club. And I think that they've done an incredible job with that. So well done to everybody who worked on it. Well done to the merch team, to the marketing guys, everybody. Part of that kickoff week, it's still going, by the way. It's more than a week. It's like 10 days. Let's be honest. Today was Magnet Monday. There's a watch party for the Champions Cup game on Wednesday down in Celebration. They've also got a trivia night coming. There's a kickoff luncheon, and then the MLS home opener on Saturday night. If you haven't got your tickets, go get your tickets. The wall is already sold out, Luis. Can you believe it?
Yeah, the wall sold out. Yeah, they announced it. They announced it already today. Yeah, it was sold out. That's fantastic. It is exciting to see that this Honor Thy History things engages fans that probably left Orlando, and they're like, okay, you know what? I stopped watching Orlando for like 2 or 3 seasons, and now they're bringing back the old colors and bringing back, all the good stuff that used to be part of the USL days. It's working, and I think, when I was talking to my other podcast in South America, and they're like, oh, look at the Orlando jersey. Why you guys change your logo? And I had to explain, like, it's more than that single lion logo. We've been around since this long. So it's kind of cool in a way to tell them that, the history started way before the 2015.
I love the idea of our
it's
MLS
amazing.
fans learning about stuff. Maybe they had no idea, and now they're like, what is all this? And then they start doing research, and maybe they go back and watch highlights of like the championships or something, because, obviously I lived it, but it was an incredible time to be a fan in the USL era. So I encourage everybody, go watch the 2013 final where Dom Dwyer scores a hat trick. It's like, it was a 7-4 game, I think, against Harrisburg. Insane USL final. So go check that out. Paula, do you have any thoughts for us on the home opener on Saturday?
I mean, it's going to be a dub for sure. Montreal is not looking great in their preseason like us. And you said it, like a lot of the time preseason game doesn't transition to the regular season. But this year is different for us. I feel a different vibe, right? I'm not going to jinx it, but from what we heard from Oscar Pareja from last week, it was like shocking to me. Like he can transmit us what the team is feeling this season. So it's a dub. It's gonna be a dub on Saturday. The wall is gonna be sold out. We're gonna be loud. We're gonna rock as always in the home opener. We haven't lost a home opener since I think never. So it's gonna be a dub for sure.
Yeah, I think the wall being sold out this early is a sign of what's like. Usually it'd be like a Thursday, maybe a Friday before a home. Like the fact that on Monday they're like, no, the wall's done, shows you that the place is going to be rocking. I would love a sellout. I'm excited for that, and then even more excited for the Champions League return leg against Cavalry. quickly,
We
we had
we
the
have
least.
we have
Go
some
ahead.
breaking news, guys.
Yeah,
Breaking
I was
news.
gonna go on to this.
Dun, dun,
Please.
Kills me.
Fancy. That's fancy. So U.S. Open Cup without MLS teams. Um, according to ESPN, preliminary plans for the 2024 edition by the U.S. Open Cup have been approved by a subcommittee of the U.S. Soccer Federation Board of Directors through the tournament. Though the tournament likely won't look like recent editions, a source told ESPN closely. It says complete details are still being ironed out. The decision to have a tournament in 2024 has been made and will likely gain final approval as a hybrid type of tournament with not every MLS team participating. The precise level of team participation from MLS and USL clubs is still to be determined. The plan calls for the federation to make its largest financial investment ever to ease the cost of travel for lower division teams. This format will be only for 2024, and there are ongoing discussions with stakeholders about working collaboratively to find a more permanent format for the long term of the tournament. The future of the tournament, the first edition, which was completed in 1914, has been in doubt ever since the MLS announced in December that its first teams won't participate in the competition, and then the MLS Next Pro teams will take their place. So more than likely, it's been approved, and in let's say on an 85 to 90%, MLS Next teams are going to play.
I mean, I think the precise level of team participation from MLS to USL clubs is still to be determined. Like that's so open-ended.
That's so vague.
What does that mean?
That
I mean, honestly, this is just like
they're gonna leave it to the clubs to decide, maybe. Okay, so tell me, Miami, who do you want to take to the US Open Cup? Your B team or your MLS Next Pro team, or you want to take your MLS team? You know what I mean? Is that that's a joke.
it seems to me like this statement just says we still haven't decided anything and everything's still up in the air, and US soccer and US soccer and MLS are still fighting each other on what each one wants to do. It's different interests and they're not meeting. Paula, your take on the latest with the US Open Cup debacle.
I mean, this disrespectful, right? Like the oldest trophy and the like oldest tournament, and then now first, well, they did say, okay, MLS, let's do it now. Like, come back, the teams, let's play. But now again with the controversy, I mean, it's with the refs too. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's the good picture about it. It's just disrespectful.
I think it's something that we hope, I was told by several people on X that it's resolved like months ago. I wasn't convinced. And now we're really seeing as we're getting closer to the beginning of this season that it's not resolved. And, between this and what's happening with the refs, MLS has got a lot of open-ended questions right now that they need to figure out.
It's making us look really terrible as a league. I'm telling you this as somebody that covers other leagues in CONMEBOL and things like that. I'm telling you, like, it's when MLS does things like this and you speak very highly about the MLS, it makes it look like a joke. Like you're taking the piss out of somebody. I'm sorry, but it's just annoying, because you have other leagues like the Saudi Arabia League. They don't go through these issues. The J League in Japan, they don't go through all these issues. But the MLS, having the best in the world and everything, is going through all these trials and tribulations. I just think it's nonsense. And it would be terrible if it's the MLS Next Club and Next Pro teams, in my opinion.
It's throughout the tournament likely won't look like recent additions, a source close to USFF told ESPN. I mean, I don't understand how you have a cup knockout competition with every team in the country that's done any other way than it's how you do the cup
They're
knockout. You
trying to
start
level
with the
maybe
little
they're trying to level
teams
the playing field.
and you add the bigger teams in later. That's what makes sense. That's what works. That's how the FA Cup works. That's how every cup works in every nation, pretty much. So, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? I don't know, but we'll move on from that. And any other news, Luisa, Paula? You guys have any other points you want to say
No,
today?
we have a comment here from Jim D. It says, "Not sure we will start our starters in Canada due to Saturday match and midweek in Miami. Look, if you ask me, we need to kill that team in the first 15 minutes. I'll say we start our start squad, and then we are 3-0 up, and then we start taking all the players out. We take Nico out, we'll take, maybe we put Mikey Holiday, take Santos out. Like, we have the firepower, not to be rude to anybody from Calvary or anything like that, but we are the better team. We have the firepower to knock them out in the first 15 minutes. If we don't do that, then we have a problem."
And this is why I said the 4-0. Just because I believe that Oscar is going to go out with like, I want 3 or 4 goals in this
Yeah.
game, and the reason for that being that then when we play the other leg, he doesn't have to put out such a
Right.
strong lineup. He can play a rotated squad because you've already got a 4-0 up, right? Like lead. So that's the way I would do it. I wouldn't play a rotated squad first. I'd make sure we get the win away from home. Then maybe we could play some secondary guys in the home leg. Paula, do you see it that way, or what would your strategy be with all these Wednesday, Saturday games we got to deal with at the
No,
beginning of the
I
season?
will agree. I will kill them in the first 15 minutes. Get the most goals possible, and then park the bus. The
Well,
Oscar
no, I
Pareja.
mean,
Well,
put
not
the
park the
I
young
bus.
don't know if
kids.
he
No,
will. I
yeah,
think he's
yeah.
just going to keep going.
Put the youngsters. Like I can and I agree what Luis said earlier. Like I can see Ramiro Enrique starting, or even Muriel starting, and then switch them up
Yeah,
for Maguire
yeah.
or Ramiro. Like I could see that possibility on Wednesday, but we have to go all out because I know they have PTSD from Tigres from last year, because that's what happened. Like we didn't score, we didn't lose. We just tied last year, and we lost our opportunity to advance on that stage. So I know that Pareja's strategy is not going to be go relax, let's go and score. And remember, he's not gonna be in that game. The red card, so it's gonna be interesting how this gonna play. But I know that he's gonna already have his plan up and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I think we're anticipating to see his number 2, right, standing there instead of him, Torres. I
yeah,
want to say.
I forgot his name, the
I think it's
Mexican
Torres.
coach.
Pretty
I
sure.
forgot his name.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's everything from us tonight. I appreciate everybody who joined us live and left questions. Thank you again to our guests from Cavalry. Go ahead and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube and not subscribed. If you're listening on Apple or on Spotify afterwards, please go ahead and drop us a follow or a 5-star rating. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook as LPO Podcast. I'm John Rollins OCSC on Twitter. And you guys, where can we find you on X? I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
can
what to
find me as
call it.
you can find me as Pineda_ORL on Twitter.
Me, you can find me as Lola_Pau13, and then find us in our Spanish content tomorrow. Finally, it's gonna premiere our 36th episode at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So it's already there. It's already in YouTube. Tiro de Esquina OC. So good content that we recorded today. So
Awesome. A Spanish episode for you guys.
There you go.
I think we should just call it Twitter from now on. I'm just gonna make that decision. No more
I always
X
call it
debate.
Twitter. I never
It's
call
just
it
gonna
X.
stay Twitter. I'm fed up of calling it one thing or the other. Thursday night, we're gonna have a review of a review of the Champions League and a preview of the Montreal game for you guys. So look out for a Thursday night podcast. That's everything from us. Only one thing left to do, and that's say, Vamos,
Vamos,
Orlando.
Orlando.
We're going.